under the Followership Development Institute. We have seminars once in a year. At this time, June, we began in 2018, and we thank God for a day like this. So this year we'll be looking at the topic, leaders as followers. We'll be looking at the topic, leaders as followers, and we want to apologize for starting late, but we can't finish. So it's going to be participatory. There's going to be some points where you also participate, ask questions, and engage in a task. Leaders as followers. So for those of us who are on YouTube or Facebook, you see the slide directly. Those of us who are in-house, you also see the slides and follow us on the slide. So the first slide is leaders as followers. Leaders as followers. So we are looking at a leader. In this particular seminar, we want to look at a leader as a follower. He's a leader, that no doubt, but we are looking at him as a follower. So second slide, we want to just quickly review and do a review of what followership really is. Followership can be described as the capacity of an individual to actively follow a leader. We can say you are a leader, you are a follower, if you have all it takes to follow a leader. You know, you have the capacity, you have the energy, you have the drive, to follow a leader. So it can be regarded as one's ability to follow the leader. In other words, one is considered to be a follower because he or she has what it takes to follow the leader. He has what it takes to follow the leader. That also means that there are people who possibly don't have what it takes to follow a leader. It's just difficult for them. It's difficult. So it means having what it takes to be on the same page with one's leader, boss, or mentor. It also means that one can be around a leader without following the leader. True followers are those with following abilities. All right? If you are looking at this slide, you see the man on red and you see the three other people that are following. So those people, right, may not be the only people you find in that organization or in that community, but they just have that capacity. They have what it takes. If the leader says, let's go, they go. All right? So we're trying to familiarize ourselves again with what followership really means. What's the goal for following? What's the goal for followership? What's the goal? People may want to follow a leader because there is something to achieve together. Somebody wants to follow a leader. He's following the leader of either in a business organization, in church, whatever, because he knows there's something we're achieving together. There's something, if I follow this person, there's something we're going to achieve together. So it means that the follower follows the leader because there's something to be done. There's something to be done. Something to be done. We have something we want to do. One can also say that people follow because of a defined outcome. There's an expectation. All right? There's something we're achieving together. That's one. Then two, there's an expectation. There's something we want to accomplish. In other words, people follow for a purpose. People don't just, follow people. They follow for a purpose. So one can say people follow for what they will become. If you remember Jesus says, follow me and I will make you fishers of men. They follow, they started following because of what they will become. And they became. So people can follow for what they will become. People can follow for what they want, what they know that will be achieved together with the leader that will also benefit them. There's a benefit, that for them, there's something in need for them. So what will be achieved together and what they will get from following. What they will get from following. That's part of the reason why people follow. So we have looked at why people follow, and we have also looked at what followership is, and we say followership is, has to do with having the capacity to follow, and we have looked at the reasons for followership, why people follow. So let's look at true followers. If you look at that, you're going to see, look at the illustration there, you will see the man on red and these other three people following. So let's look at what are true followers. What's true followers? A true follower. What is a true follower? True followers. They believe and are committed to shared vision. Every organization has a vision, all right? And we call it shared vision because it's something we all share together, all right? They believe and are committed to share vision. True followers are committed to a shared vision or goal and work collaboratively to achieve it. They understand their role is contributing to the larger objective, a vision of the organization. All right? It is shared. They all share it. They all participate, to make sure it comes to pass. So a true follower, number two, is supportive and yet constructive. Is supportive and yet constructive. What does that mean? True followers support their leaders and colleagues while also providing constructive feedback and insight to improve processes and outcomes. They support the leader, they support the team, and they come with honest feedback that will lead, to the progress of either the team, the group, or the organization. They don't come with destructive, criticism. Okay? Then a true follower is also accountable and accountability and responsibility. They are accountable and responsible. That's what accountability and responsibility. What does that imply? They take ownership of their action and responsibility, demonstrating accountability for their work and contributions to the team. They are not involved in blame game. When you see people who are not ready to take ownership, they are ready to take ownership, they always find somebody to blame. They always find somebody to blame. All right? They only find somebody to blame. They're accountable. They can give an account. If you put them in a particular space to say you are in charge, when you come back, they will give you an account. They can say, this is exactly what happened. All right? They're not looking for somebody to blame. They're accountable and they take responsibility. Active engagement and participation. True followers are actively engaged in the work and processes of the organization. They are actively involved. They're involved in what is going on. You don't come asking him questions and he will tell you, he can't answer. All right? He can't give you a response. No. He's engaged. There's no disconnect between him and the leader. No disconnect. All right? So, true followers are actively engaged in the work, process, and organization. They participate in discussion, share ideas, and contribute to decision-making process. They actively participate in discussion, whatever is going on. They make sure they are part of the process. Okay? They are part of it. They don't just that has nothing to do with me. No. They participate. They make sure they participate in what is going on in the organization. A true follower also is ethical and principled behavior. They have ethical and principled behavior. All right? What is not appropriate? What is the things that are not appropriate, the things that they know that the organizations does not approve of, sharp practices, they make sure they avoid that. So they operate with integrity, adhering to ethical standards and principles. All right? True followers do the right thing even when it's challenging or unpopular. Because as an organization, there are ethics that guide the organization. For instance, if it is priesthood, if it's ministry, if it is church, there are ethical standards. The scripture is the standard by which every action is weighed. Every action is weighed. Every action is weighed. Scripture is a standard. Okay? For the nation, for every nation has, its laws, has its own constitution. A true follower will make sure is not involved in violations. So it just gets involved in things that are ethical and unprincipled. Okay, so that is what it is when we talk about true followers. Some of the things: believe and committed to share vision, supporting yet constructive, accountability and responsible, active engagement and participation, ethical and principled behavior. So that's part of the expectation of a true follower. So now we're going to move into something that I want you to look at. We're going to look at. So the question is, are you an active follower or a passive follower? Are you an active follower or a passive follower? There are active people who are active followers, and there are people who are passive followers. All right? They can answer employee. They can answer, they'll tell you, we are his children. Don't forget, we have followers at home. At the family level, they are called children. In the nation, they are called citizens. In the workplace, they are called employees. Then in the church, they are called members. So in the church, we can ask, are you an active member or a passive member? In the nation, are you an active citizen or a passive citizen? All right. So we're going to try to find out where every one of us falls into. So let's look at active followers. You see all of this in your screen. You see all of them in your screen. There are 6 of them on both sides of the divide. So, 1, engage and participatory. We discussed this earlier, how to know a true follower. Engage and participatory, actively contribute to discussion, shared visions and ideas, and participate in decision-making process. Okay? I'll just run through this. Number 2, critical thinking. Think critically and provide constructive feedback to improve processes and outcomes. You try to think, get out of the usual, probe your mind to try to find solutions, to, challenges are on ground. Number 3, proactive. Proactive, take initiative, anticipate challenges, and offer solutions. All right, they take initiative. They're proactive. They can, troubleshoot just to find a way to go around an issue that's on the ground. They don't believe it. There's only one way to get things done. No, they don't. They don't. They are proactive. The question they are asking is, what other ways? What other ways? What else can we do? All right. Number 4, accountable. They take ownership of their work and action, demonstrating accountability. If you put them in a particular space, they want, to be able to tell you, they can tell you and say this, they take responsibility. Even if they are team lead, he's a team lead under you, reporting to you, he's not going to come and start pointing hands to say he didn't come early, the other one didn't come early. It takes ownership of whatever has happened in that particular unit, to provide leadership and give an account. Collaborative, work effectively with others, building strong relationships, and fostering teamwork. That's what a true follower will do. What does that mean? To collaborate is to work with others. Those of you who are on this side, make sure you are seeing the screen, a part of the sound engineer. Please come this way. Apart from the sound, a person is helping us to watch the sound. Collaboration, that is working effectively with others. A true follower, a true follower will appreciate other followers around him. You understand? Because every follower has their own ability. Everyone has their own ability. So when you are not collaborating with a colleague of yours, there are going to be losses. So what's the best thing to do? You collaborate. That is, you work effectively with others. A true follower, an active follower, will work with others. We join hands with others. Okay? Number 6, passionate, because they believe in the shared vision. They are highly passionate and to get the job done. When somebody is passionate, he thinks of the assignment, is always thinking of the assignment at hand. He sleep, dream, and think of it. Passion can make somebody to enter the rains. Like you see now, we are in the rainy season. Passion can drive somebody to say, what's driving you? He's here. He will come. Okay? All right. So, then let's go to the other side of the divide. We just talked about, what an active follower will do. Let's go to the other side. The other side is passive. We're looking at passive followers. Passive followers. Yeah. Don't forget, today we are going to be looking at leaders and followers. So there's something I'm going to ask you to do. All right? So you're going to score yourself by the time we are done. And I want you to be honest, to be very, very honest. We're going to do what I call, followership quotient. Followership quotient. Know your followership ability. If you are joining us online, so you're going to get a sheet of paper. We all have 6 things. So you're going to score yourself. All right? Be honest with yourself. If you are honest with yourself, don't forget the whole idea about followership, leadership and followership is to become better leaders and better followers. It takes being a better leader and a better follower to get organizational results in whatever you are doing, either in business, in church, or whatever. Okay, so everyone is going to have a sheet of paper, and then you are going to score yourself so we know your followership quotient. your ability. Please kindly distribute. Those of us who are online also, just take a sheet, take a sheet. Everyone get your sheet, all right? So, and you're going to score yourself. So we want to know everybody in the hall. Make sure you get your sheet. Those of you who are online, also get a sheet. And I'm sure you are seeing the slides. You will know, you're going to score yourself and know your followership ability. Is that okay? All right. So, please be honest, be very sincere. So, you score yourself, it's going to be over 6. It's going to be over 6. And if you now want to know what your score is, so we have, let's look at passive followers. Passive followers. Number 1, less engaged. Less engaged. So if you are going to be scoring our brief test, the title will be followership quotient. Followership quotient. So because we want to test your followership ability. So look at passive followers. All right. How do I know if I'm active follower or a passive follower? Okay. To be a passive follower, number 1, he's less engaged. Less engaged. What does that mean? It may be less participatory. He doesn't really participate in what we're doing, in what the team is doing, what the organization is doing, like your business, in church, whatever. Less participatory, often waiting for direction or instruction. All right? You are under a leader. You're in a department. So the question is, do you wait for your leader before, you take action? Do you have to be reminded? If you have to be reminded, all right, just put good there. Score yourself good. If you have to be reminded, they have to remind you, waiting for direction, instruction, tick. All right? Okay? So number 2, provide limited feedback. May not provide constructive feedback or insight, potentially missing opportunities for improvement. It's difficult for you you're here, you struggle. If you struggle, all right, you struggle to give feedback. You struggle to give feedback. Reports. You find it difficult to send reports, give reports, feedback. Are you scoring yourself? So score yourself. Okay. You have a leader, he's giving you, sending report, whatever. Number 3, always reactive. Tend to react to situation rather than anticipating challenges and opportunity. It is when things have happened that you start acting. You don't know how to prevent. You don't prevent. It's when it has happened, say, hey, I didn't know. Number 4, they are less accountable. They are less accountable. May shift responsibility or blame rather than taking ownership of their actions. If they ask you, hey, why, what happened? Say this person, that person, this person, that person, this person, that person. Is that how? Do you always have somebody to blame? Number 5. Eh? You said? You're seeing it there, it's there. Number 4. Yes. May she responsibility or blame rather than taking ownership of action. Always look for somebody to blame. If they are trying to ask you, oh, what happened? For you, it's usually because somebody didn't do this and that. Number 5. Dependent on leadership. Often rely heavily on leaders for direction without taking initiative or contributing to decision making. Push you. Do this, come and do that. Is that you? Number 6. There's no water. All right. For instance, they say there is no water in the building because there is no power. Is that okay? They just say there's no water, no power. And so the project cannot continue. It has to be postponed. Right? And you can say, okay, it's not going to look for other ways to get things done. Are we together? So we have 6 of them. So what's your score? What's your score? Anyone with 6 over 6? What's your score? I'm asking.
When your answer is no, is it score 1?
Yes. When your answer is no, you score 1. When your answer is yes, you lose 1. So, is there anyone with 6 no's? You have 6 no's. Who has 6 no's? 6 no's. 5 no's. 5 no's. Okay, 4 no's. Your own is 4 no's. Okay. 3 no's. 3 no's. 2 no's. 2 no's. Okay, 1 no. So, 1 no. So you can see your followership quotient. You know where you are. And then the need to improve. So from those 6 now, you can know the area you want to improve. I don't know whether you are following me. Okay? All right? So if you find out that you are less engaged, you need to work on that. You need to be more and more, all right, engaged. Provide feedback, don't do reports. You need to work on that. It's a mark of good followership. You don't want to be reactive. You have to be proactive. You have to be proactive. Some people are less accountable. You have to be more accountable. You need to depend less on leaders to work. So it helps. So how does this help? All of this put together helps you get better results. All right? Helps you get better results and, praise God. All right. Let's now look at, so you now see your followership quotient now, your ability. I've helped you see where you have found yourself. All right? Okay? Pastor Eli, did you see where you are? Everybody, you can see, everybody, you know where you are now. As a follower, you know where you are. And the area where you want to improve. Is that okay? Okay, so let's quickly now go deeply to the topic of today, leaders as followers. Stitch in 2008 is of the view that leadership and followership are understood as a state or condition or embodiment or quality rather than position. More of roles plays than position. What that means, all those grammar, let me bring it down. What it means is that we should see leadership as a rule. Leadership and followership as a rule and not a position. We should see leadership as what? A rule and not a position. What does that mean? It means that's why the topic is saying leaders as followers. Leaders are followers. It looks as if it's confusing. The person is a leader and also now a follower. If you look at leadership and followership as a role and not position. So, in other words, the person who is a leader can as well be a follower. I don't know that you understand it. The person who is what? A leader can as well be what? A follower. All right, let me have 4 people. Let me show you something. Please come. Come here. Pastor Man, please come. Just come. So let the camera capture you. Please come. All right. You see? Who else? Pastor Ellen, please come. If 2 of them face this way, 2 of them, they report to him. He is the GM. The 2 of them. He is the one in charge of technology. She's the one in charge of operation. But all of them, they report to her as a GM. All right? So that means that both of them are following him. All right? This GM also have an MD. Is that okay? This is the MD. So you can see he has people following him while he's a leader, and he too is now is following. So if he faces this side, he's a leader. If he faces this side, what does he become? He's a follower. You understand? So that ability to follow, all right, it is not only these people that need it, he too also needs it, so that he can be able to follow the MD. I don't know whether you are following me. So the same thing. So for instance, let's assume this is a family now. It's a family. This is daughter. This is mother. This is the husband. All right? So everybody here are following the husband, who is the daddy of the home. Am I correct? Of the home. They are all following him. And then, so you see, here is a leader. Then if he turns and comes to church, she is the pastor. What does he become to the pastor? Follow. That's the summary of what we are trying to achieve. Please clap for them. Clap very well. So with that illustration, we see that leadership and followership is not a position, but what? A role. A role that you occupy. And that's why people must not look down on followership. Are we together now? And we need the skills for leadership. We also need the skills for what? For followership. So if it is well understood in the body or in any organization, it will make it easy to lead or follow. Are we together now? All right. So just like we have leadership skills, we learn leadership skills. All right. Just like we learn leadership skills, we should also learn followership skills. You know, we learn followership skills, leadership skills. We also learn what? Followership skills. Okay. So, number 2, increased commitment of followers should also result in talent bank of future leaders. This suggests a situation where one learn as one follow. So in order to be a committed follower, you are learning. You are learning. So it's the other words, we learn as we follow. We learn to be leaders as we follow. Number 3, the goal of a group or association should make it easier for all to accept the position of a follower. You know, because of the goal, because of what we want to achieve together, we should not mind who is the leader. We should not mind who I'm following at a particular time. We look at the purpose. So we have this popular saying, he who cannot be a good follower cannot be a good leader. All right? These things are on the slide, if you can see the slides. He who cannot be a good follower cannot be a good leader. He who has never learned to obey cannot be a good commander. You cannot learn to obey, you cannot be a good commander. So, here, there can be a situation where one is a leader and follower simultaneously, depending on one's role within an organization. That's what I just demonstrated now. We saw the GM who gets a report from all the other teams also responding to the MD. All right? There can be a situation where one is a leader and follower simultaneously, depending on one's role within an organization. Jesus, while on earth, claimed that whatever he hears from the Father, that is God, is what he does here on earth. And on earth, if you remember John 5:30, on earth he had disciples that later became apostles. He was telling them that whatever I see my Father do. So that Jesus was both a leader and follower. When he sees his Father do, that's what he does here on earth. And then at the same time, he had 2 disciples that were following him. All right? So he was both a leader and a follower. And that's the goal, whether in our business, in church, in family, anywhere we find ourselves. All right? For this side, if a father knows, he's also a follower. He's in dealing with member of his own household. We are teaching on followership. We look at we look at governance, and we are governance of nations, and we say that, followers are citizens in the nation. In the family, followers can be a wife, a follower can be a wife, or the wards we have, the children. Then in the church, followers are members. And then in the workplace, followers are employees. So if we look at the family unit, if a father knows that he's a leader, but he is also responsible to leadership at the place of work and the church that he attends, I think that while he will expect somebody to tolerate him, he should also be able to tolerate those who are following him at home. I don't know whether you get the picture. All right? Because he knows at one point, I'm a leader here, at another point, I'm a follower somewhere else. And there are expectations that he has from his leaders. All right? There's anything he expects. Okay. So in the place that God is his leader while he follows, and he in turn leads his disciples who are followers. Jesus modeled leader-follower construct. Jesus modeled showcase how to both be a leader and a follower at the same time. So, and that's what, one of the goals of this particular seminar, so that we too can be able to model the leader-follower construct. Then Paul said to the Corinthians church that they should follow him as he follows Christ. Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. When he said follow me, he automatically be a leader. When he now say as I follow Christ, he becomes what? What does he become? A follower. He say follow me as I follow Christ. When he say follow me, he's a leader. When he say as I follow Christ, what does he become? As a follower. That's the way life should be. All right? That's the way it should be. So, one can describe this as a leading follower. Paul is what? A leading follower or a following leader. All right? You are either a leading follower at one point in time or a following leader. Right. So, let's look at interdependence. Leaders as followers. It also implies that it depends on the role played at a given time. Again, it confirms the early position that followership is not a position, but a role. It depends the role you are playing. You are either a leading follower or a following leader. So a man called Dale in 1984 believes that healthy interdependence help leaders and followers relate in ways that advance God's kingdom. That independent leader follower means remains one of the fundamental challenges for today's congregation. Okay? They believe that leaders should depend on followers and followers should depend on leaders. So, that one is handling a followership role does not mean there's nothing one is bringing to the table. Do you understand? If you're a leader at one point in time and somebody is a follower, don't look down on him or her. Right? Because there's something is bringing in. Rather, a following leader willingly add what he has on the leadership of another to advance the group of organization. So you don't try to be to sabotage the effort of a leader. Bring what you have. You bring what you have on the table. And when you are bringing what you have to the table as a follower, the leader should not look down on you. The position you are occupying at that point is just a role. Is just a role. All right? Follower at a given point. I want to read Ephesians chapter 5, verse 9. This is where you have this captured. You have this in scriptures. Okay? It says, servants, pay attention, be obedient to them that are your masters. When it says servant, a servant there is a follower. So be obedient to your master, that is to your leaders, according to the flesh, with fear and trembling in singleness of your heart, as unto Christ, not with eye service or men pleasers. It's just telling them how to follow a leader. But as a servant of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, with good will, doing service as unto the Lord, not unto men, knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall receive of the Lord, whether he be born or free. But pay attention to verse 9. Pay attention. He said, and ye masters, listen to this. Now, and ye leaders, do the same things unto them, forbearing threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven, neither is there respect of persons with him. Can you see that? Now, if he was initially talking to followers, later he changed and say, and ye masters, meaning ye leaders. He said, you have a master in heaven. Can you see that? You see servants, all right, on one side, and then you see the master at the middle, and we have a greater master above, which is Jesus. Do you understand? So you now see what it is. So in Apostles' admonition to the Ephesians church, he addressed the relationship between masters and leaders and servants and followers. You know, so telling the followers, follow, this is how to follow the leader, and then telling the leader, look with your followers, be conscious that you also have a leader above. Are we together now? All right. In other words, don't be high-hearted. All right. There is somebody else you are following. In other words, he's trying to say, let's be tolerant. Are we together? Let's be tolerant. Somebody. So he made them understand both have the same master above, which is God. I don't know whether you are following. So you have the servants, the master, and the higher master, which is God or Jesus. So leaders as followers. One can see a situation where the leader is meant to follow and lead at the same time. Are we together now? You are meant to follow and lead at the same time. This confirms the narrative that followership and leadership are roles played in any organization. So one can say that critical stakeholders should be willing to play any role as the occasion demands. So the role can change. You can be a leader at one time and you become a follower at another time. And another very great lesson today is that as you lead, if you're a leader, know that there's somebody else you are responsible to. All right? Know that there's somebody else you are responsible to. So we have a case study here. You know, I don't know if you can look at the screen. It's good you look at the screen. All right? If you can see it, we'll just read through, you know, and if you were here when we did the followership quotient, you will be able to place this and answer this. Since case study, Akin is the team leader of the marketing department, all right, of the green company. That's the name of the company. He has 5 team members named Alicia, Greg, Jomiloju, Hawa, They are the follower. It is the beginning of a new year. And they have been given a target of 1 billion naira. That's the target given to the team. All right? Are you following? So, Aki shares the vision of how they are going to achieve this target. Follower buys into the shared vision fully. Ask question, write down actionable points. They had a meeting. This is what we're going to do. And the rest. Alicia is indifferent. With time, as time progresses, Aki will see the expected results. But now, look at what we are seeing, the result we are seeing. Alicia is indifferent. Indifferent is, he just stands aloof. He will only do as instructed. If you ask, Alicia, have you gone to Ochi to find out if they are going to take this and that from us? That's when she will go. If you don't ask him, he's not going to go. All right? Okay? She's not actually interested in what is going on and is able to convince Hawa to follow in her footsteps. Before you know it, there are 5 team members with Akin as head. Is almost able to convince the other person to drop out, to also do as she's doing. We don't know what she's telling her, probably saying, look, at the end of the day, it's Akin that will be promoted. Akin that will get, where profit sharing comes, she gets a chunk of the payout. Maybe that's what he told her. Are you following? So Greg is excited about the target and believes that it's achievable. All right? Greg is excited. Jomiloju does not speak up, rarely shows up in time for meetings, does not contribute but remains mute and calls him frequently to take excuses. Okay? Who is Jomiloju? An active or passive, or what type of follower is Jomiloju? All right? What do you say? Jomiloju is passive. What of Greg? Greg is active. All right? What of Alicia? Alicia is passive. What of Howard that was converted? So we have one active team member who is Greg. All right? We have 2. Is it 3? There are 3 now. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So Greg is active. One follower, nameless, doesn't have a name, is also active. But Hawa, who else? Jomiloju and Alicia, they are all what? Passive followers. That team is in serious trouble. It's like they have divided it. When you look at that team, does it resonate with you sometimes when you look at, for a pastor, look at your congregation? There are people, they are always sending messages, excuses. 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 If rain fall is a problem. If sun is shining too much is a problem. And this is June. We're half a year gone. They go. So this type of team have a heart-to-heart talk. Team leader Aki is in. If he's a pastor, is in facing serious challenge. Conclusion. One can conclude that any member of a group, network, association, business, or a church should understand that it will take a combination of followers and leaders to meet the group's goal. Do we all agree to this? Yeah. So, the leader's leading role are enhanced when others leaders whose hands are not on the steering willingly regards and submit to the latter. You know, a leader, leading role are enhanced when other people support him. You're a leader, you have team leaders that are supposed to support you. You're a team leader, you have followers in your team that are supposed to support you. And they are not doing that. You know, we'll get better results if all hands are on desk. Following leaders see the vision or goal as more superior than their person. A following leader, he sees the vision or goal as more superior than their person. You know, there's a way some leaders, as far as they are concerned, their position is what is important to them. All right, not the deliverables, their position. If they, what would I call it? When you dirty your hands, how can a GM, how can I be the one, you know, to do this? If I do it and it touches my hand, and in part of my role as the GM or as a pastor, it's not good to want to do it. But when you see what we're achieving together, you say, oh, it's because he didn't come on time. That's why this place is like that. No. At that time, you need to take the role. You know, he's not there. You sit in and do what is to be done. So let he who knows the way take us there. Let he who knows the way takes us there. Right? Let he who knows the way take us there. The new proof of a mature leader is if one is a leading follower or a following leader. That's the new proof. We want to change the narrative. A leading follower, you're either a leading follower or a following leader. A leading follower or a following leader. A leading follower or a following leader. You don't get fixated at one point and be pastor. So I can't do this. I made this. I can't do this. I don't know whether you're following me. So the matured way to look at leadership and followership now is if one is, you're either a leading follower at one point or a following leader. The Bible talks about Elisha who poured water in the hands of Elijah, meaning he is a following leader. He followed someone. The new proof of a mature leader, I take it again, is if one is a leading follower or a following leader. If one is a leading follower or what? Or a following leader. We have explained it and we have demonstrated it here. It's either you are a leading follower or what? A following leader. And one of the things I want you to get out of this was the admonition by Paul the Apostle when he says to the leader, is warned and advised the followers and told them, this is how to follow. Serve very well. Then he changed and talked to the leaders and says, please lead these people like somebody who also have a master. Do you understand? In other words, lead with tolerance, as you also want to be tolerated. You want to be tolerated. So lead with tolerance, as you also want to be tolerated. So that's where we are stopping, except that if you have a question, one or two questions, if you are online, you want to have a question, we can pick it and answer your question. If there's anyone following, those of us following online, and then if you are in the house, you have a question to ask. We've done that. Unfortunately, some of you came late. We're not there when we did the followership quotient, so that you can know where you fall in, know your your position, know your followership ability. Is there anyone that has a question? Have a question? The microphone will be there. We'll take some questions. You have a question? Joshua? Right? Anyone with a question? Okay. The microphone.
There are people we see, they have this skill of leadership, but they are not truly followers. But once you give them this position as leaders, you see that their zeal will be high, but once they are following, it's like they are not really called for that.
Yes. So what's your question?
My question is it that they are not good followers? Because according to your statement that bad followers cannot make good leadership.
So please use your mic, please. Use your mic.
Okay, I should repeat it.
I say use your microphone. So when they give them role, they are active.
Yes.
But when you ask them
to be followers,
yes, they
it's
disengage.
Yes.
They disengage. Well, I think that's part of the reason why we have this type of seminar. What they need is skills to follow. All right? And they need to come and hear things like this. You understand? That followership and leadership is a role, is not a position. At one time, you are following, you are leading. At one point, you are leading. At another point, you are following. You understand? Even Jesus, he says that what I see my Father do. I give you an example. He said, follow me as I follow Christ. So that's why we encourage everyone. We want to encourage everyone. As we teach skills to follow, we should also teach skills. Teach skills to lead. We should also begin to teach skills to follow. That's where that book is important. I have a book for this. If you don't have a copy, get a copy, read through it. If that's the type of challenge you face in your organization, you need to begin to teach skills to follow. Teach it. You need to teach it. All right. You just see the case study we had. The team leader comes and decide and say, okay, this is the vision for the year. Everybody, we all hear them. Then there's one who is saying why. They have many reasons. I can't tell you. They have many reasons why they do that. But they have forgot getting something very key. And that is the organizational goal. What we aim to achieve together. Right? So they don't care. At the end of the day, when you want reports of what was done for that assignment that was given, you discover that they've not, maybe they only made 30, 40, or 50%. All right. Any other question? Any other question?
Just a contribution. Just like what you said, that a leader, you have to be tolerant. You must be a tolerant leader. If you are not tolerative, no follower will follow you. You may have all the skills, have all the knowledge. I work in an organization. She's very flexible. She's a lady. She's very flexible and she's a lady. So you need to tolerate your workers. Nobody will follow you.
Any other question? Yes. There's somebody here. Okay, let's take her then taking. Then
Praise
we'll
the Lord.
close.
My question is,
Your question?
my question, yes, sir.
Yes.
In a situation whereby the following leader is going wrong and the followers that are following him knows that he's going wrong, what will they do? My example is just like maybe a pastor, for example, in the church, comes to church late and do tell the followers, members, please make sure you come to church early. But he comes late. And the members will be looking at him. This is the pastor that always tell us to come early, but he's always late. What can the follower, will the follower keep listening? Or will they? Thank you, sir.
You know, one of the things, you remember when we were talking about active or passive follower, one of the things we said, if you recall, was that, you know, an active follower is ethical and principled. Did you remember when we said that? It's ethical and what? Principles. You know, everyone, like, you know, some organization, either church or whatever, they have what we call a handbook. You know what I mean by handbook? Handbook, where the policies are. For a nation, the constitutions is what guides. The people know, they can see it. I think that in a situation, if that leader has another leader, all right, okay, in that organization, you should be called and say, look, you are sending now wrong signals to those who are following you. But where is the big disaster? If it's the very head of that organization, it's a big problem. That means that results that year is going to be terrible. But if there's somebody ahead of him, you need to sit down with the person, you know, talk with him, find out what the challenges are, all right? And let's see how we can, go around it and talk about it. And then it should be made to also explain to the people and to say, this is why and why I'm doing this. All right.
The leader, to the head, to the master. Because members might be afraid not to tell this is what is going on. Let's assume that the leader is the senior or the branch pastor and he comes late and members know. And that has been, the thing has been like that. So who would then report him to the superior that this is what is going on? Because the leader himself might not tell the superior. Will the members go and let the superior know what?
Some of them may do that. Some may do that. That's one. Number two, the results that comes out from that particular branch or place, all right, we indicate, we show, and a probe will be done, you know, to find out why things are like that. Yeah.
Praise the Lord. I wanted to contribute to Pastor Ima's question. We also have a question online. Just quickly, Pastor Ima did ask if a leader, somebody who is a leader, is not finding it difficult to follow, right?
Yes.
Because most of us are taught leadership, right? And so most people, once they are leaders, they find it very difficult to be humble. They have a problem with humility. So when they come into a team where they're supposed to follow, they find it very difficult to follow. So the number one challenge is humility. And then Brother Kunle spoke about inflexibility. You know, they are not also flexible because they've been taught all their lives that they are leaders. But tonight we've been told that leadership is a role. You can be a leader and you can be a follower, depending on the circumstances in which you find yourself. And then the third challenge they usually have is their inability to learn. Because they feel they are leaders, they feel they know it all. There's nothing anybody's going to teach me that is new. I'm a leader, I'm a leader, I'm a leader. So, but once you understand that leadership is a role, when you find yourself in a team where you're not the leader, you're able to humble yourself, you're able to become flexible, and you're able to learn from others, because learning is a continuum.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then let me just, what she said humility. They don't have. In fact, in that book, you will see it. Humility is a skill. Is a skill that every leader or follower should have. A follower that doesn't have that humility skill cannot follow. All right. We are told we have a question online. Yes, let's have it.
So the question is, how can you follow a leader who isn't a following leader? That is, the leader isn't an active listener and always shifts the blame on the team. The person is not accountable for their actions. So how do you follow that type of leader?
Okay, I think it's similar to the question she raised. All right. How can you follow a leader that is probably disengaged, is not accountable? Yeah, he doesn't listen and all that. He doesn't live what he's preaching. It's challenging. It's a huge challenge. But I think that if I'm going to look at that, in the Christian faith, religious faith space, the way to look at it may be different from the way you look at it in an organization, maybe in a business or career organizations. All right? But it's actually very difficult. It disengages, it kills people's morale. It kills people's morale. But the follower has a challenge. The challenge the follower has is that you can't go past him to take report directly to whoever he's reporting to. You understand? So what I will tell you is that, well, just do your best. The result is what we show. The result we show, we attest. But that's why, let me also tell you what their superiors will do when these things happen. Have you noticed that when organizations want to do restructuring, maybe a department is not doing well, a whole is not doing well, the first person they deal with is the leader. They take him out. How many of you have noticed? They go there, take out that leader. They take him out. Yes, that's what they do. If, for instance, if they are buying, maybe they are buying another organization, they are adding to their own, they first of all take out that empty. Because they are selling that place because of non-performance. So if you were very good, we will not be getting the type of results we get. So people don't do business like they used to do in past. Yes. Just another question.
Your answer, sir. So I just want to add, I don't know if you are still online. You said, how can you follow a leader who is not a following leader? Right? During the training, one of the slides also spoke to that. Followers challenge leaders. If you are a good follower, take for example the question one of our pastors asked. A leader is saying, come early on time, and he never shows up on time. He never resumes on time. If you are a follower that resumes early, continually, continue to come to work early, your leader after a while will also begin to talk to himself that, what I'm doing is not right, if that person has a conscience, right? And as a follower, you can challenge your leader to do the right thing. You don't have to speak, you don't have to say it, but by your example and the things that you do, that way you also begin to create a positive energy in the team, right? Leadership is not by title. It's not by title. Indirectly, before you know it, you become the leader of that team. Because the people will respect you and they will begin to follow you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, final comments or contribution? All right, anyone? Comment? Contribution? Okay. Tonight, what we are learning, we learned on leaders as followers. And we say and we're reminding you that leadership and followership is a role. It's a role. It depends on which part you are playing at one point or the other. And that you can be, a passive follower or active follower. And that when you're dealing, when you are wearing the cap of a follower, you can be wearing the cap of a follower at a point and also wearing the cap of a leader at another point. All right, but whichever, at one point or the other, the greater organizational goal should be your driving point. Okay, and then don't forget, if you are a leader, have people following you. Tolerance is key, because you know in the next 1 minute you may switch position to become a follower. Let's rise up. Okay? Father, we thank you for your time. Thank you. We give you praise for helping us to understand what leadership is and what followership is. We pray you help us become better leaders